it's talking about.
It has the progress report. No, we don't need to look at that. That's fine. Let's click on through. Is this the one?
It is. Yep.
Okay. So you got that?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So this is a really interesting course. You know, I've taught Ignite before for years and things like that. I actually have gone to Ignite like 6 times with different teachers and all of that. And I really like the idea that we have these kind of launch courses and stuff. They're super good. One of the reasons I've gone to it so many different times is because I'm just one of those kind of people who want to hear everybody's viewpoint. Like, I want to hear your stories. I want to hear, like, do you have a different way of approaching it and this and that? When I was a brand new agent, one of the things that I always did was, because we live in such a gray, you know, I wasn't used to like having all these gray areas, you know, that you could do something in your business and it's exactly right. And it's not something I might do in my business because it's not right for me, but it's still right because it's for you, right? There is a lot of grays. And because there were so many grays and so many answers to the same question, when I was brand new, I would kind of feel out. Back then, Keller Williams was really big into the DISC report, you know, and people's personality styles as the DISC. And I don't know if you've all taken the DISC. Have you ever taken the DISC? So it's something that we did all the time. Like, it was a big deal. It's like, okay, are you a high I? Are you a high D? You know, and so like D is direct and I is like initiative, you know, like feeling, and S is like rules oriented, and C, like all the different things, right? And so I kind of found 3 different agents who were a little different than me in those. And I would always just ask them the questions like, hey, I've got this question. How would you approach this? And how would you approach this? And how would you approach this? We also had in my first office a guy who always played right at the edge of things that were doing it right and not doing it right. Like, he skated right on that line. And quite frankly, he went over the line a lot of the times. I'd also ask him because I would want to know exactly what not to do, because like he was a scoundrel. However, he's passed away now. Love that guy. But, you know, it's kind of good just to hear, like, where are the edges of everything, right? So that's why I love these classes, because you get to see all the different teachers and their ways of doing it. So it looks like the goal of this class, when they were writing it up, was to get you in 10 real estate conversations 5 days a week for the next 120 days to set you up for 9 agreements. I love this, guys. The goal of everything is conversations. Without conversations, you don't get appointments. Period. This is the metric that I actually measure for myself. How many conversations did I have about real estate this week? And I'll tell you, I know that the people who are actually having the real conversations, they have closing. You know, there's a lot of things you can fake in this business. You cannot fake the results from conversation. You just can't. And you know, any lead source that you ever go down, like if it's open houses, if it's internet leads, whatever, the point of everything always, always, always is, how do I get more conversation? And it's not always the conversation you think that's going to get you the business. That's the crazy thing about it. It isn't necessarily that. So I think anytime you put energy into the universe, wanting business, having those conversations leads you closer to your next one. Like, I swear, I'll be challenging myself, because a lot of, you know, we do this on our own. We're solo. I mean, I do have an assistant and things like that, but my business is my business, and I have to motivate myself in different ways. And I'll do my own challenges. I'll be like, okay, I'm coming in at 4. I'm going to make this many phone calls, you know? those phone calls, inevitably, it's not necessarily those phone calls. I'll get a call from somebody. Hey, Noni, I'm moving to New Mexico. Oh, okay. Had no idea you were moving to. Well, I bought a house last week. Oh, well, let's get yours on the market then. It's funny how that kind of thing works. That there's a lot of vibe and energy into this real estate thing, and it's fantastic. It's really wonderful. So this is what they're saying that I'm supposed to be going over. So I hope, so you already did your database stuff. You already did lead gen. You did the appointments. Now open houses. And next time it's social media. So one of the things they want people to be doing is putting this into action. What they say about classes is education without action is entertainment. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't need another hobby. Like, you have to put this stuff into, real estate can be a very expensive hobby. And it is for a lot of people, quite frankly. And it shouldn't be. Like, this is one of the best places to really help, like, change people's lives and get paid. Like, we are the luckiest. So the whole point of this is like, okay, get an open house. Hold an open house. Like, really start doing this. And so the way they have this set up is they want you to plan for an open house using the 1 week open house plan. They want you to host a well-attended open house, and then teaching you how to follow up the attendees after the open house to really build relationships. Does anybody know the average time of a conversion of a general lead? Like, just random conversation, general leads, how quickly, and I'll say, let's say I do a lot of internet leads. Does anybody know like the average conversion time of one of those kind of leads? So the company that I get mine from says, and they've been doing this 25 years for top teams and things like that, 18 months. 18 months is the average conversion time, right? I think open houses is a quicker one. And the reason why is if somebody is motivated enough to get out of their car these days, when there's drive-through everything, they're telling you something. They are in your open house for a reason. They want to have a conversation about real estate. So I think that you have a better ability when you ask the right questions to convert at an open house than you do in a lot of the other sources. Why did they get out of their car today? So here's the progress report that they said, but I'm going to skip that. Mindset. So did you guys talk about the fears last time? Having fears about appointments, I guess, would be the topic. Mm-hmm. What were some of the fears that people had about appointments?
My fear is always the same, which is just that people aren't ready.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm afraid of that, but
okay. Yeah. Right. People aren't ready.
I think it's because I'm not good at follow-up.
Okay.
And so if I don't get them now, I feel like they're lost forever.
Fantastic. That's an interesting fear. Anybody else have fears that they talked about last week at all? No? Okay. Interesting. I just thought it was fascinating that they started with talking about fears about something, like I think it's one of those things that you just get it off the table because we all have fear. The most amazing thing about real estate, anybody who you meet, Matt Brady, I love that man. He's such a great broker. Matt Brady doesn't know everything about real estate. My previous broker, Bennett was a president, blah, 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 doesn't know everything about real estate because he hasn't had that transaction yet. Has great ideas about what to do and how to approach it. Nobody ever knows everything about real estate, which is a crazy thing, right? And what's really fun about real estate is how you are, as a team of one, play both offense and defense. Like, you know, the playbooks to both because you're doing both for different people. And as far as an agent, I am literally a different person as a listing agent as I am a buyer agent. Like, it's good thing I'm a Gemini, right? Like, seriously, I use every bit of it because I am singularly focused when I'm a listing agent, and I'm singularly focused as a buyer agent, and it's different skill sets and it's a different thing. And you know, and I actually use my open houses differently for both of those things too. But fears. So has anybody had any new fears come up since you were thinking about your last class?
Yeah, what if you meet with them multiple times and
Yeah. They end up signing with somebody else? Is that the fear? Or is it that they're just dragging it out and dragging it out? Yeah. Well, here's the thing I know to be true about real estate. You can't force anybody to get ready, right? Like, we are just here as their guides, quite frankly. And on their time is their time. And I think it's pretty clear when somebody's going to work with you. I think it's really rare that at the last minute, after 4 years of talking to somebody, that then they decide somebody else. I mean, and that's that follow-up piece. And what's fun about that is the longest that I've had where I met with somebody with the intention of them selling their house, we met 2016. And I met them through an internet lead thing because I was on this huge team. And I went to their house and they're like, we're going to retire in a couple of years. We just kind of want to know what are the things we should be looking for doing to our house before we get there. And I did. I gave them a laundry list. I'm like, okay, you have an older roof. Storm comes through. Back then, you could get your house roof covered when there was a storm. Like these days, I don't know if that's the truth, but back then you could. I'm like, if there's a storm, make sure you get your adjuster out here, you know, like told them all the things. And then I got a call from them in COVID, during COVID. I'm like, hey, it's good to hear from you guys. And we caught up and stuff. Hadn't gone back to their house in that 4-year period. However, they liked what I had to say when I sat down at the table with them. And they're like, we think we're going to be ready. And so we've done the things you've told us to do. So they had a new roof and they had it was great, right? And COVID was a weird time. We didn't really know, you know, we knew what they wanted to make on the house, this and that. The comps were surprising. Like, hey, it looks like there's not a lot in your neighborhood that's, you know, your first time home buyer price range. Let's, you know, get it started. Well, at the time I was at another Keller Williams office in the north part of town, and I was the productivity coach. And I used their house as the open house, you know, like, hey, if anybody wants to help me host this open house, we're going to be doing these open houses all weekend. We priced it well, this and that. We had over 90 people come through those open houses. It was a one-level house with no basement. And the way we ended up doing it, because it was just stacked with people, is that I had 2 agents in the house that would tour with the people. I was in the garage with the garage door open with a Keurig and a coffee bar set up. And it was just the craziest thing. And I had 2 shifts because we just really did it, you know, to get 90 people through. I think we had 8 agents come through, like 8 agents host this whole thing because it was kind of a production. Jill Weaver's one of them. She's in our office now. And every single one of them got a client from that deal. Like, and it was slick because I also had arranged with my inspector to give away a free inspection. And so I had everybody put their name into the bag for a free inspection. And that's how I got the names for the agents who were inside so that they could follow up with them. And that was their job to follow up with them. And literally all of them had at least one deal. Some had actually several deals, buys and sells, and it was just kind of a crazy thing. So that was a lot of, like, Jill Weaver has a different expectation about open houses because that was her first one, right? And she throws events. She had one this summer out in Princeton. Her first day on, it was a little hobby farm. It went viral. 56,000 people saw her reel. She wasn't thinking that a Wednesday open house was going to be very much. There were over 90 people that night. She couldn't keep up. She had feedback from agents that had scheduled a showing during that time saying, we couldn't park close enough to the house. We're going to have to reschedule. So open houses, when somebody just totally says, oh, open houses aren't a thing.
What did she do with that one to get that kind of?
Okay, so it was a hobby farm with like 10 acres maybe, and it was under, I think it was under 300,000. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Well, who's not interested? Like, wait, maybe I'll live, Harris and what's her name did the farm thing. I mean, I could do that too for under 300, right? Right? And she had great pictures taken and she made this cute little video and but she's done videos and all of that stuff for all her other ones. It's just that it was like timing and woo, right? Like, you never know when lightning in the bottle strikes, right? But she also is like, it's an event. Like, she had hot dogs and she like chili and soup. Like, she does the things, it's fun. I've always been, because I came from the hospitality industry. So to me, this is a party. I'm throwing a party, one of the reasons I do open house signs, I put balloons on them because I want people to be happy when they're coming on in. I want them to know I'm friendly when they get in there. So yeah, we'll get to the next one. I'm sorry, I'm just going off on tangents. You guys are going to see. That's kind of how I am.
So I think that was a good example that these open houses need to be perceived as well-priced with many nice features that people are looking for. If it doesn't have that, I think it's a waste of time. If it's overpriced, if it's a wreck, if it doesn't present well, I'm not wasting my time because they think that that's all you do.
Right.
I don't want to look at other houses that are this much of a wreck.
Right.
Well, you wouldn't, of course, but that's what they think.
Right.
Okay, so I just think that we have to be careful about the homes that we do hold open.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Okay.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think a lot of that, how often are people asking for somebody to hold an open house the next day? And how are you going to generate anything? And yes, I understand people get sick. Something happens. Their child needs attention. They're asking you to do an open house. I get it. Understand. I hope they've been doing the marketing then the whole time. I'm a big proponent of scheduling open houses, but in my first years of real estate, I can tell you over 80% of the houses I held open were me playing Candy Crush, doing nothing. I don't play Candy Crush anymore, but no, seriously, and nobody told me to do something else. Nobody, so that is at some point I did go to Ignite and I was like, hey, there are things I can do to get people, doing that. And who is the biggest believer in the same way you do, Randy? Gary Keller. There is a training in the life courses. If you ever want some really good, go back to the life courses in, not Command, what's the other thing? Connect. There are so many videos out there that are so good. But Gary Keller says, if you're not going to do that 8-level open house, what are you doing? Why are you doing them? You're throwing a sign up 5 minutes after you put it online. Who's going to see that? Picking the right houses for you is so important. So the next day for Jill, she calls me and she's in a panic, of course, because she didn't expect 100 people to come to that open house. She's like, it was a madhouse. I didn't get people's names. I didn't get, the things. And my coach and I had a conversation because of some of the plans in my business that he had said, I really don't want you doing open houses for other people. I want you to do them for your own only. I get that, but you've got this other part of the business that you're trying to build and you don't have enough hours in the day. So please don't do any more open houses. Okay, great, fine. Except Jill calls me the next day and she's like, Noni, oh my gosh, this happened. I just don't want to be overwhelmed that way. I'm like, I will come. It was in Princeton. Randy, do I want a client in Princeton? I don't. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I shouldn't necessarily be doing Princeton. Have I helped people? Yeah, my best friend, I helped her buy an amazing house in Princeton. Helped her daughter buy a house in Cambridge. We'll have a listing in Cambridge next year when one of my good mommy friends sells her house. Yes, I know the area. I can do the things. I live in Chanhassen. I shouldn't be driving an hour for showings and things like that. But I love Jill. And I said, Jill, I will be there for you. And we had 45 people through that. And Jill got all the leads. I wasn't there for her leads. I was there for Jill. And I think she's converted at least 6 of them. And she'll follow up and she'll think of somebody and she'll call them. Because Jill is a natural real estate agent. I've never met anyone in my life who does this just organically because she just talks to everybody about real estate. She doesn't have a database, to the chagrin of everybody. And Jill still does $10 to $11 million of real estate every single year. And she always will because she talks to everybody about real estate. You should definitely find the right place for you, especially when you're looking at, where is that one? Because it said, okay, hold on. About looking for the house, that one. When you're planning, that's the most important part. I think you've got to think of the house and think of what the house is, who's going to be attracted to this house, And I said, you who are the best person to help those people. Are you looking for that kind of people? People with little patience shouldn't be helping first-time home buyers, I don't think. I just don't think that. I'm sorry. That's my own personal opinion. And so, I love helping. I believe in home ownership. I'll explain everything to a first-time home buyer several times a day. And I get so excited. I don't really care about the price point with it. I just believe in home ownership. I love taking care of first-time home buyers. So I should be in those open houses if my coach would let me. I am in those open houses when it's my listing. However, when I'm doing an open house for my listing, I am not there to get to sell the house to a buyer. I am there to sell the house for my seller. And it's a different approach. And I'm actually looking for different listings when I'm doing it. I want to show them how do I do this open house so that I can do it for you. So there's different approaches. But if I was to go out and look for an open house to do today or tomorrow, because I want to look for somebody, I probably want to look for like a move-up house or that kind of thing that kind of speaks to really where my wheelhouse is. Because it's kind of where I'm at, right? Like, okay, I understand because that was the last move I made. I kind of understand what the people are looking for when they're looking, right? So you decide who your people are, decide who you want to work with, look at the houses and say, well, is there any that I think are going to be the ones that appeal to the people I want to work with? I think that's a great approach. You don't have to take any, you don't have, and it's a waste of the time if you're in the wrong one. I totally agree. Hi. Oh, how sweet.
Back
Yeah.
to fears.
Yep.
I got a nice lead from somebody that I was calling that I had to talk to for years.
Mhm.
This guy used to be a coach for my son in baseball. He knew me when I called him, and he called me back, and we had a long conversation, and I asked him, he's not interested. He lives down in Rochester now, but I asked him for some referrals, and he said, maybe my brother Tony.
Yeah.
He's got 3 kids and only a 2-bedroom house, and I know he said he wants to get a bigger, better house.
Yeah.
Why don't you call Tony?
Nice.
So I called Tony, and I get his voicemail.
Yep.
And I told him I know he don't remember, but Tony was on the base too.
Yeah.
So anyway, I left a voicemail message, and he didn't call me back.
Yep.
I waited a couple of days, and I called him again.
Yep.
Still got my voicemail. Hey, Tony, give me a call when you get this message. I'd like to talk to you. And still no message back. So how long do you keep doing this? And talk about fear. Sandy says give up. He would call you if he's interested in getting a house. How long do you keep calling people and getting their voicemail and leaving messages?
Quarterly calls
Yeah.
until they buy.
Yeah.
So they tell you.
Not to tell you to stop.
Right. Because the thing is, they have that, I don't know which training it is, but, there's SPY cycles, right? And if there's going to be a time where they're going to be ready. And it's the person who's in front of them when they're ready, unfortunately, who gets the gold, usually. You call, if he hears it, he sees your name, it's all good. And don't be offended. Don't take it personal. It's not personal. Because he's worried that you're thinking, well, chances are he is. Well, number one, he's got 3 kids. He's freaking busy. Like, he's not answering his phone mostly because of that. It's not that he doesn't want to talk to you.
Well, I had a different experience with something else. Well, I'm a financial advisor and I work with companies on company benefits.
Yep.
And we had a big major remodel at our house 2 years ago. And the gal who sold this program to us said, yeah, you should call our president, the guy he's co-owner of the business.
Yeah.
So I did. And once again, no call back on the voicemail. And I kept trying because the salesperson said I should. I bet I called them 6 times. And then there was a time when we were in their office regarding our remodel.
Yeah.
And I really felt like you owe me a conversation at least because I'm spending $150,000 on this remodel with your company. You can at least be courteous enough to talk to me.
Yeah.
And when I was over there once, I said, could you please go back and get him? I'd like to shake his hand.
Yeah.
He came out and I said, hey man, I've been trying to call you
Yeah.
about company benefits. He pointed the finger at me. Look, he said, I would have called you back if I wanted your services.
Yep.
You should know that when people don't call you back, they're not interested.
Right.
And he really pointed a finger and he
was embarrassed.
I'm your customer.
I believe that he was embarrassed, though. I think
And
that he
down
was
at me.
embarrassed.
Really upset with this.
I understand. And here's the thing. Nobody owes you a conversation. They don't. I know of an agent in one of the he gave a friend a kidney. He sold his house the next year, didn't use him.
Oh, God.
Okay? So $150,000 doesn't matter. Seriously. Gave him his kidney. I'm like, I would want it back. Like, I'm kind of a petty gal. So, but
Give it back.
I'm telling you, when I see people on the threads and everything, my brother didn't use me, my sister didn't use me, whoever didn't use me, pour them. Pour them, because who would have worked harder for you
And
than
call
you?
and complain to you.
Right,
And
right? And especially when you see like the mistakes other people get made, I'm like, oh, no inspection, huh? 1947 house. Oh, it flooded the basement with sewage because you didn't have enough. Weird.
Call your agent.
You know? So I get it. I get that. Okay. But I think that the difference there is it wasn't a phone call. You were in the office. And I think that was some emotion. And I think that he was embarrassed. We have to be careful about backing people in a corner. You know, we have to give people a little bit of room to get around you. And I think that that's maybe what happened. I don't know, you know that your product was good for them. They don't know it. As a real estate agent, it's very difficult to know, like I just found out this year that a bunch of my husband's friends from the old place that he used to work across the freeway kind of think that I do real estate as kind of a side thing. They're not aware that I do this like full time. They think I'm kind of like, oh, she's kind of doing that little real estate thing. And 20, because I've been doing this 2014. Prior to that, I was in the restaurant business, and I don't do anything half-assed. So I was like a restaurant trainer, a manager, these kind of things. But to these engineers, they're like, well, she went from the restaurant business and now she's doing this part-time thing. Because I was doing that part-time because I had a kid, And we were at a party and one of their coworkers, one of those old coworkers, new coworkers was there. And he and I start talking about condos downtown. And we're just like, and everybody's just like, oh, what's he talking to her for? He's like a director over at that other, And he's just like, oh, like he got that I got it. He understood. And that's when I realized those people don't see me in the way I actually am. So how many people in our lives aren't seeing us for who we are today? They're thinking about who you were. And that's clouding, there's a mega agent at the old office that I was at, and she was shocked. She thought, because she knew all these people, because she has 9 kids and all this stuff, that she was going to walk in, send people this email, and they were going to flock to working with her. And it was not her good friends that used her first. And you have to be okay with that,
Or your friends with you were free and you tell.
Oh, right. Like, oh, well, the discount. Are you joking? Like, okay.
I just had to do that. My best friends, it was like, I won't sell your house for 2%.
Right.
Like,
What does that say? What is that? Yeah.
There's something we can
you
do.
took my kids out of swimming lessons. If I put it that way, she would have felt bad, but I didn't want to say that.
Right.
I just said, I don't know.
There's something you can do to change the mindset of those people who think that we are part-time.
Oh, true that. No, that's on me.
Yeah.
Wow, is that on me?
So what can we do then? What can you do? What can I do? To
So
change
what I
that mindset?
started doing really right after that is I started doing some videos that I knew they'd see. And it was really informational videos on my YouTube and stuff. And I made sure my husband mentioned it to them. And then I got to have conversation. Actually, we went out with those same people after that party like a week and a half later. And they were actually engaging me in the conversation because they, and we really talked about what the market's doing right now, how it's different and this and that. And they got to hear just by that conversation. Have I had enough conversations with them? Obviously not. And should they be on my quarterly call and all of it? And I didn't. On me. It is my job to show people that this is like my passion and my love, and I never want to retire from this. Like, I love this so much. This is so, like, I feel it's a calling. And to me, quite frankly, this is sacred. Like, every time I sit with somebody, we're not just talking about houses and this and that. People are trusting us with their dreams. You know how vulnerable it is to say, hey, I've got this dream. I've helped so many people be the first person to ever get a house own a house in their whole family. The idea that people are scared when they're coming to you You know, they don't know what they don't know, and it's scary. And even when they, they're doing it a second or a third time, sometimes those jumps are some big numbers, and that's even scarier. Because what if I do this wrong, I am going to screw up my family's financial, because make a wrong house choice, like a truly wrong one, money will be lost. And some of them, if we're not doing inspections and things, can be absolutely crippling. And I'm super aware of that, and I'm super cognizant of that, because I grew up in a house that was the wrong house for my dad. He bought a rattle trap. He didn't know how to deal with it. Smart guy, engineer with degree, like patents and all of it. But he grew up in apartments with a single mom and didn't know about maintenance. His house burned down. The house I grew up in burned down. Let me tell you how much I care about making sure that first-time home buyers get into a really solid place. Because he wasn't watched. And he was a know-it-all, so I'm sure, he made it seem like he could. You got to get around those things too. But this is a very big deal. And if we treat people with that kind of respect and like, oh, this is a big deal, I do think that, and we don't need everybody's business. Quite frankly, we don't need everybody's business. How many houses is it going to take this year to get the goals you want? For me, it's 25. And that's what I want. What can I settle for? Well, based on my sales in the past and everything, it must be 12 to 15 because that's the years that I usually have. I've had the 25 year and I worked, and I can go and do that if I want to work it hard enough, because that's what we get. We have an unlimited ceiling. That's the luckiest thing about this. My husband's an engineer. He knows what he can make every place he goes, depending on, what level he's going into. What's he doing? They know their salary caps. No limit here. None. No limit. How lucky are we? Just totally lucky. Okay, let's go through the misunderstandings. I'm so sorry. You guys probably don't know, I'm a talker. And I didn't really introduce myself. My name's Winona Eichelberger. A lot of my friends call me Noni. Feel free to do that. Some people don't know that they can call me Noni, and I'm always like, sure, it's my email. I've been in real estate since 2014. I've only worked with Keller Williams. I love the training in Keller Williams so much. I started at Lake Minnetonka when it was in Wayzata. And after having the first year, was there for a bit, and then they opened up Eden Prairie, which I thought was closer to my life and stuff, so I jumped into that one. While I was in Eden Prairie, I joined a mega team, what do they call it? Expansion team for Hergenrother, which was the Herg group. Adam Hergenrother was and we were like 17th at the time. They rose the ranks. I was with them for 3 years or 2.5 years, and then they brought me up to Maple Grove. They wanted me to be in that market center with them. And I was there, and I went to, in 2018, I went to Family Reunion. And Gary Keller said he didn't know he was building technology for us forever. And he didn't know if there would be other agents, but he promised that there was always going to be Keller agents. And at that point, the only reason I was on a team was because I was worried, because I used to be a travel agent back in the day. We know where they're, like there's only a few of those people left. And I thought, oh no, agent, it's going to happen again. Zillow and Open Door and all these things are going to take us away. So I better get, busy, figure this out really quick while we have it. Once he said that, I'm like, oh, don't have to worry. Gary's got our back. And I truly believe he does. I think he does some wonderful things. And I do believe that there's going to be agents forever. AI is a scary thing, but I still think if you're using AI in your business, that you're going to go far. While I was at Maple Grove as a solo agent, I did become the productivity coach up there. First, I was the career development productivity coach, which meant that brand new agents and low producing agents, I helped them get into contract as fast as possible. And then I became the productivity coach, blah, 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 like the main person. And then decided that leadership wasn't my passion, that I really love helping people get into houses. So my team from there were like 6 of us at the time, came down here, and I've been here since July. Oh, it's almost, yeah, it's not my end. So 22, 23. Maybe it's 22. We'll see. But I think it's like 4 years. I think I've been here, something like that. So that's who I am. I do feel like I have a debt to pay because of asking all those people all those times, to help, me with like how their answers were. So if you ever have a question about anything, please never hesitate. I would love to be one of the people you ask. I get calls all the time. I help people all the time. If you ever have problems with like MLS stuff and contracts and Authentisign, I Zoom with people all the time and I walk them right through it. I usually know the contracts so well I can tell you what number everything is on because I've done it so many times. But I'd love to be helpful in that way. So that's who I am. Anyway, let's get to myth understandings. This is a lot. You're going to hear this stuff, right? Number 1, open houses don't sell houses. And why do people say open houses don't sell houses?
People don't follow up with their leads. They don't want to make their calls, Randy. People are bothering people.
Yeah. Yep. That internet source that said 18 months that I was talking about, they say you have to touch somebody 16 times.
I did an open house last July. I just closed on one from that
Yeah.
buyer I never met before. She had met with multiple agents. I closed last week on it.
Awesome. See?
I'm
But-
75% of my business on
So
open
you
house.
stayed in touch with those people,
Yeah.
even though they were working with another agent?
No,
They weren't.
working.
No, she just came into the open house.
She was a cash buyer. She had met with multiple agents, never signed. I was the first person to actually sit down and explain the process to her because everybody heard cash buyer and just sent her contracts. Let's go look at houses. And she was like, no.
You want me to sign something and you've not talked to me?
I was the first person to offer to sit down and explain the documents to her. So now-
And this might prove this point though. Open houses don't sell houses. Did you sell her that house that you were in a year ago? I hope to God not. I hope it wasn't still on. No, but no, that's why people don't believe open houses sell houses. What's that NAR, that NAR thing where they ask buyers after they've bought their house, hey, how did you buy your house? And it's like, with my agent. Open houses, what does it say? What percentage of houses are sold? What they say. I think it's 5. It's 5% is what it says. Up until the 2 listings I have right now, the last 10, I, as a listing agent, I have a protocol how I do my open houses. I have a first day on open house and then 2 open houses on the weekend after. And I advertise those open houses while it goes live coming soon. So everybody knows that those open houses are happening. The last 10 listings I've sold, I have met the buyer at one of those open houses for the last 10. That's why I hold the open houses to sell. Because boy, do I get a lot of information when I've met the buyer. Boy, do they like to talk and tell me everything. And I don't care if they have an agent, right? Because I just want to hear, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. How much do you love this? Oh, or how close to your grandmother? Oh, they will tell you all the things. So that now with those people, when they're asked, did you buy it from an open house? I bet you they say, no, I bought it with my agent. Even the one who just closed last Friday, they had sold their house. They hadn't signed with their buyer agent yet. They came into my open house. They went to 2 other open houses. They came back to my open house. Did I know that they were going to be my buyer? I knew it. They're telling where the kids' rooms were going to be and all of it. What kind of leverage does that give me? So much good stuff.
My husband and I last year, we bought our house, but because we went through an open house. Looked at the photos, didn't want to schedule an appointment, just was okay. So, and we ended up being one of 4 people that submitted offers following that open house.
Right.
So when I'm talking to potential sellers, I share with them my own
Your
personal.
own story. You went into the open house.
Yeah.
And if
That
they
is
were to
true.
ask you how you bought your house, you might not.
It was me.
Or you'd say it was the internet that showed you the pictures. But what sealed the deal was the open house. One of the reasons I like to do those first day on open houses, because I like them to see their competition too. That's my favorite. Because they get to hear the other people and it freaks them out so much. That's why I hold the showings until my open house. And then the agents, every single week that I have a listing go live, they're like, I have a client that's in from out of town. They're leaving. I have to get in before. No, I know that's a hard thing. Maybe you'll want to do a video call with them, because I want you to see your competition. It's important for me for you to know other people love it too, So, but I understand why people would think open houses don't sell houses. Open houses are a waste of time. The wrong ones are. The wrong ones are. How do you make the wrong ones the right ones, though? If you are doing a live video from every single open house that you do, I promise you'll get business. All you do is a live. It's one of the things, because I have people shadow me all the time. I kind of strong arm, and I'm like, your people need to know you're working today. Could you go and jump on? And my sellers deserve to be in front of your people. So since you're here with me, why don't you just do a walk around open house? And because I'm somebody who likes to practice what I preach, I had a video kind of go crazy because in the middle of a storm, I did one of Jill's open houses in Wayzata. And boy, did I get, I didn't realize I didn't swear in it, but the balloons were flying away. It was craziness. And I just started getting these laugh emoji things in my phone after, because the open house, what's going on? And oh my goodness, people thought it was the funniest video. There I am. I'm I forgot the name of the street. I could see how it was spelled in my head because my client was the next door neighbor from 10 years ago. I helped her buy the house next door. And I'm like, it's not Xanthus. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it was so funny and it sounded very Minnesotan. And my coach just laughed. He thought it was the funniest thing. But you never know what those things are, right? But those people, all my friends, people do like to see that. And especially if you make it a reel later too, they're like, oh, that's funny. That's great. You can make the wrong ones a good one if you do the right things. You really can. I think it's a good idea, even if it's a sale listing that's overpriced or whatever, you're in the place, you can say something nice about it. And in the area, people will see you in all levels of houses. One of the things I think that get people in trouble often, is there's only so many, $3 million houses. And if you're only going to do those, okay, great. But there's a lot more in other price points too. And it's good to have people see that you do all sorts of real estate too. You never want somebody. And I remember at the first office I was at, there was a man named Joe Cashmore. He's since passed away. He had cancer and died in 5 weeks. But he was the biggest insult I could have is somebody telling me I didn't want to bother you with my mom's house. And I didn't want to, and we have to be careful about that. We don't want people to start thinking we're too big for our britches or whatever, I do it all. I'll do it, all of it. Serious buyers only book private showings. Nico, do serious buyers only book private showings? No.
And I would say we weren't a serious buyer. We hadn't even talked to a lender.
Right?
But when you find the right house.
I think when you're doing open houses right now, you're going to find a lot more people with agents.
You find so many more. It is a very different game. Yeah.
Even if you're not the listing agent, doesn't
Yeah.
hurt to get the information. Because then the person that you're hosting the open house for, if you get all those informations and they can follow up with them and they're gonna want you to
They
host
want-
more.
Exactly. How you present is a very big part of this. Yep. Only new agents host open houses. Talk to the home group. Home group loves doing open houses. You guys love doing open houses, right?
I see lots of people. You meet lots of weird people.
It's fun. It's a good time. It's something different, you know? But not only new agents do open houses, all agents do, you know?
But I do not do open houses by myself.
Mm.
Never.
You never have to.
Never.
Yeah, you don't have to.
You never have to
I'll
do an
bring
open
one
house.
of my vendor partners and
Great idea.
a lender,
Yep,
inspector, I've had title be part of it.
yep. I actually love doing it with people and I often, you know, especially for my own listings, because I don't believe in dual representation and I let my listings know I will not be representing the buyer of your property. I can write a contract as your selling agent, your listing agent for that person, but it would mean that they weren't represented at all and they'd have to agree to that. But I will not be doing, I just personally don't do it. And that's because of who I am. I don't have the ability. There's some people who are so much better at this than I am. Like I said, I have a different hat on when I'm a listing agent compared to a buyer's agent. And I just have this drive of win, like, and you can't do that when you're doing dual agents.
I don't care who you are and how good you think you are at it. You cannot possibly represent both sides at the same time.
People believe they can, and I'm not gonna challenge. They might have different, you know, I just know for me, I cannot do it.
Because whoever you signed that contract with first, that's where your priority lies. So thereby, you cannot represent the other side fairly enough. You just can't.
Well, and for me, that dual agency thing where I get, like, I was at one of these fair housing things put on by Marb from like a regional person taught the fair housing class. It was fabulous. And she said, to do it correctly means you don't put either side's interest above the other. So unless you're willing to give the CMA that you gave to the listing when you listed that property to the buyer, she believes that that should be a requirement. She thinks if you aren't putting either's, wouldn't you show them the numbers you pulled when they listed the property? And I don't want to show my hands of anything. So that's why oftentimes people will be at my open houses. I'm like, hey, come do my open house with me. You'll get all the buy clients. That's fine with me. I have no problem with that. I'm here to sell the house. I want to sell the house for and actually I'm there to meet the buyers usually. That's just how it is. But it's not only new agents. Open houses are outdated with the online listings and virtual tours. What do we think about that? It's online.
A virtual tour is not the same as seeing it in person.
No way.
And more times than not, it's very different in person than it does online.
Yeah.
When there's a virtual tour.
Truly this. Oftentimes, I was helping clients from San Diego buy a condo. They wanted a good view. How many condos I went and took a look in downtown St. Paul and downtown Minneapolis that have no picture of their view? How would you know what's out that window if you're not showing it to me? It's crazy. It's crazy. And for me, those pictures are just to get you into the house. When I do my coming soons, I get that some people don't agree with this. I don't put all my pictures on until the night it goes live. I only give you teasers because I want you crazy. I want you to want to get into that dang house so badly that you're going to be at that first open house. It's a tactic I use. Sorry. There's a lot of people like, you only had 5 pictures on till this morning. Yeah. I don't want to put anything out there that's going to tell them no. I want them to really want in. That's how I do it. But I don't think it's outdated. I just don't think that that's true. And even with those little clicky things, you spin around and you get really like sick while you're watching the 3D tours. Not the same as being in. And there's no smell-o-vision yet, right? Like, gotta smell it. And there's no vibe-o-vision. Like, There are houses that you walk in the door and it's amazing, right? Like it's a different feel. You need that energy. You need to get in there. Open houses only attract curious seekers and neighbors. Okay. Not, not the last 10 listings I've had. We've got the buyer there. But who cares? Like, who doesn't? If there's a first-time home buyer who's trying to figure out what they want, or a second time, they don't know how to do the jump-up process. Agents previewing, fabulous. I like meeting new agents.
To, a good idea is to do the first hour before you start your open house and go around and talk to all the neighbors
Yep.
and invite them.
Yeah.
Tell them this is their special,
Yes.
then you kind of find out who's maybe in the market.
Truly.
And
Do they have friends who've
Yeah.
been looking in this neighborhood? It's a great idea. Now, I was listening to Jason Abrams' version of this class yesterday before doing this class, and he talks about doing that, and he talks about like the prep and all this stuff. I have a lot of out-of-town buyers, so I do a lot of virtual showings and things like that. 4 Saturdays ago, I went to 2 properties that had scheduled open houses and agents weren't there. And there were cars, and here I am with my phone, I'm like, hey guys from Salt Lake City. And this person like rolls down their window. Are you here for the open house? Nobody's here. I'm like, open house? No, I've got a scheduled showing. I'll be going in, and then this other threesome goes up to the front door. It's locked. And he was an agent, but he didn't schedule a showing so he can go in. And I like went in and locked the door because I don't have permission to let anybody in. And my clients are on the thing and doing it. And I called the agent. She's like, oh, we've got 3 offers that the sellers didn't want to hold the open house today. And I'm like, but I'm seeing it live on HomeSpotter. It says you are holding the open house. Oh, I guess I didn't cancel it. Okay. So I was late because of all the stuff. Oh, there was somebody's cooler fell off of their car and like beer bottles and stuff were all over the road. So that's why I was late to that. But going to the next one, there are 30 people in the yard of this house and it's 1 o'clock. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be here at 12:45. And I'm like, oh, and I get out and I'm like, hey, is there supposed to be, they're like, yeah, nobody's here. I'm like, let me call the agent to see what's going on. I call my client and I'm like, hey, there's like 30 people here. It's like a big old crowd. I'm going to call the agent, see what's going on, And so I call the agent and he was speaking really loudly. I go, oh, hey, just to let you know, the agent that's supposed to be at your open house isn't there. And there's like, I'm here for that showing. I was a little bit late, but and there's like a lot of people here. And he goes, well, you can let him in. I'm the agent. And I'm like, oh, but, and like everybody heard him because he's on the phone and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there in, I think he said 5 minutes. I'm like, okay. And so I shut the phone off and I'm like, so I know you all heard him say that you all can come in. However, my broker would have my ass if I probably did that. What I'm going to require you guys to do is sign in. I had my sign-in sheets like literally in my car. I'm like, if you want to come in early, you have to sign in. I just don't want, any kind of issue with that. But, I understand, and so there, and they all signed in, every single person. I'm like, every person, not even just one in your group, has to sign in because I don't want to hear later, right? 20 minutes later, the agent strolls up with his fresh Starbucks and his bag from Trader Joe's, like he's got a care in the world. And I'm like, and there were 3 pages of signed in people. And he's like, thanks so much. Hey, like, what? Yeah. So when I heard Jason say, oh, get there, I'm like, we can't get people to get there on time or even hold the whole thing sometimes. Like, that's an issue. How much you put into it is going to be how much you get out of it. Isn't that, I think it's a bold law, right? Like, how you do anything is how you do everything. Like, if you're doing it the correct way, if you have a system for your open houses and you know what you do the same thing every time and you build on it, that's the way to do it. If you're just gonna nilly-willy, you're right. Because what conversations are you gonna have then? You're not gonna have good ones. Hosting an open house means I'm only doing lead gen on weekends. I hope, yeah, misunderstanding.
That's all you're doing for lead gen, baby, but.
And why are you only doing open houses on weekends? My first day on open houses is either on a Thursday or a Friday. Jill Weaver, talk about open houses. She does them all during the week, all different times. You know, she even has, we had a listing in Linden Hills. She asked AI, what time should I have and what people should I try to attract and what should I serve food wise? It told her where to get what treats and all of it from the neighborhood. Amazing. You know, super fun. Like, no, it doesn't mean you're just doing it on weekends. And then open houses can only be on Saturdays from Sunday and Sundays from 1 to 4. Nope. And when I'm doing my selling listing open houses, that last open house that I do has typically been from 2 to 4. I am going to start changing that, I think, and do a later open house on Sunday, probably 5 to 7, because I want to capture people coming home from the cabin or different things that they're away for. I think, because I've heard a lot of people are like, oh, like they come into the last minute of my open house and they're like, oh, we really try to get here. And, oh, well, let me adjust, you know, but you want to take a look at your times. I love 2 to 4 open houses though. That's like my favorite time usually to do it. But we tested in the last year with a lot of Jills and stuff, that later open house, and it was really helpful. Now in the winter time, I adjust things because the problem is it's dark. I don't want to be doing an open house in the dark ever. Like that's ridiculous. But sometimes you can't help, right? Like 4, it's dark, like cleaning it. But for the most part, you know, but all sorts of times I've done all sorts of open houses. You never know. Okay. So the ways that you can lead gen with open houses, it connects you with the neighbor. What it does is it connects you with the neighbor with circle prospecting. You should definitely be doing some sort of circle prospecting. It provides you an opportunity to understand homes when you're newer, you know, and even I love seeing a new house. You know, there's houses I love, certain kinds. I will go and look at ones I am not, you know, I'm not a huge 90s house person. Wouldn't buy one my personal self, but I want to know what they're like. I want to know their floor plans. What did they do? Allows you to practice and perfect your conversation dialogues. That's the most important thing. Practice on others. Don't practice on your paychecks. When you get good talking to strangers, how much better are you when you're talking to your family and friends? It attracts serious buyers and seller leads right to the door. That's where you get it. Like seller leads is really what I'm always looking for when I'm doing it. Builds relationship with fellow agents in the area. I love meeting new agents, or not new, but new to me. Like people, yeah. Jill's open house, that one with the 40 some, we met like 4 or 5 different agents from the area. It was super fun. Really a nice time. And then boost your name recognition and strengthens your brand. You know, I know that I've had people stop by because they saw my smiley face balloons. They're like, we thought it was you. You know, great. Love to see you again. Good to see you. How are you? Uncover hidden listing opportunities nearby. You hear things from the neighbors. They tell you who's had the fall in the neighborhood and house has been empty. Super much good opportunities. So the 4 steps to picking an EPTIC. Number 1, pick the listing. Pick a listing. If anybody needs, I can show you how to put together a sort in MLS that does open houses just for our market. And now we get to add the 2 other market centers that Matt Brady's the broker for. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Stacy,
Stacy, which town do you live in?
Minnetonka.
Minnetonka. So if somebody in Elk River has a Minnetonka listing, wouldn't it be nice for you to be, hey, somebody that might not want to schlep, if they're on the other side of Elk River, like if they're in Princeton, because a lot of people, and they just happen to have their aunt's house on the market in Minnetonka, maybe you'd be the right person to hold that open. So feel free to look at all those opportunities we have. Absolutely. And sell yourself. Tell them what you do that's different. A lot of the times when I was really into the open houses, I would do the door knocking, but I would also find the strip mall that's closest to the opportunity. And I would bring the flyers to the strip mall and I would ask them, hey, I'm making a little booklet for the new buyers so that they know some of the area businesses. If it was a hair salon, I'm like, do you have a sheet with your services? Do you have a business card? If it was like karate, there's usually one of those in there, like, hey, do you have a schedule of your classes I could include in this thing for the new buyers? The pizza place or restaurant in the little thing, and if there's like a Super America or whatever, they have boards. What are those boards? Cork boards, community boards. Put one on there. Somebody might be waiting for the restroom and they never take those darn things down. So it could be there for months, right? My name and stuff is right on there. Market the open house. Those are the kind of things, if you're not doing anything else, you have no other clients, you get to do that other kind of stuff. Having those conversations is always what it's about. Then you host the open house and then you follow up and win clients. And there's a whole week's worth of things. And they're all looking at it as if it were a weekend open house. But you can do this at any time. And there are mega teams that really do open houses as their primary pump. So picking the right one, hold your own or another. New to market homes or recently price reductions are a great option. Low inventory neighborhoods, mid-price homes. I think those are good general rules. But if there's a niche that you are hitting, if one of yours is in there, you should do it. Find it. Best days and times, like they said. And Jason Abrams on the podcast or on the video for this said that he liked the 5 to 7 open houses the best. Yeah. You just said that was when he liked to do his open houses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saturday and through Sunday, 11 to 1, 2 to 4. Figure out what the best one for you is. You know what? If you're not a morning person, don't be doing 10 a.m. open houses. Like, nobody wants a cranky person in there. Like, oh, I just dragged myself out. I don't know why that guy, like maybe he should have had a neat evening one, like, because it was 1 and he couldn't make it on time, and he had his big old thing. But make sure that you pick it early in the game. When something's coming soon, why not call an agent and say, hey, do you have any scheduled? This is what I will do. I will call this many houses. My assistant is on all these different Facebook groups and she puts my flyers into all these Facebook groups. Whatever it is you do, let them know. Sell yourself to those agents. They want to be able to trust you. The sign-in sheet is super important. If you ever want to do one of Jill's listings, you come back after it's all done and you don't give her the name and the agent's name, I don't know if she'll ask you to do another open house. She's really I created a monster in that girl because she scolds me about not having enough signs for her open houses, right? But oh my gosh, her open house signs are like 100 pounds each. I'm like, I can't fit them in my car. But some people are really picky about how their open houses, but if you give them the feedback, because their client is going to be asking them, how did it go? It was okay. They don't want to hear that. And, Jill is somebody who can just talk to anyone. And like, she knows their dog's name by the time they like, she knows all their children. She knows where they were married, that she knows what town they live in. I mean, like, she just is somebody who loves people authentically and is curious. She just has this natural curiosity. It's just the most amazing. Like, if you can follow Jill Weaver on an open house, like, but just be prepared because she's going to ask you everything about you too, you know? But it's awesome. Like, it inspires me to be exactly like that's what we're, you know, we're there to talk and connect with people, because if it is a year that I'm going to be in relationship with this person, just like Chris, it was a year, right? That how are you going to have a conversation differently with somebody after a year when you think, okay, this is going to be a relationship that I need to nurture for a year, compared to, well, they're going to buy next week. Right? Like, you treat them differently. You have different conversations with them. So, you can watch the YouTube channel about this guy, Alan. So the marketing, the flyers. Now flyers are in Canva. You know, test some flyers out before it's the day you need to make them, guys. One of the main reasons I have an assistant is because I cannot make anything go where I want it to. And my flyers are a mess if I have to make them. But make sure they have a photo of the home, that they have the key details, that your contact information. I don't have my preferred lender stuff. My preferred lender generally drops off a box of her own things that has like the programs they have right now. And then a call to action. You know, want a second look at this? You know, have a question about your home value? Whatever those call to actions, use those. Registration sheet. You know, there's digital landing pages with the computers. And I have an iPad for that with a keyboard. I've fallen away from using that because some people are really weird about technology stuff. And after COVID, it really fell out of, because nobody wanted to touch anything. But this is the actual sign-in sheet that I use for mine. It has name, email, address, phone. Are you working with an agent? Yes or no? And then name. I want to know the name of those agents. I want to be able to contact them. And then it says, how can I help you? I'm looking for a house to buy right now. I want to buy a house within a year. I would like to know the value of my house. I'm just looking. Here's the thing. You got to watch your sign-in sheets like a hawk. The first time somebody doesn't fill in the entire information, you need to match it and have the next one. I pre-print mine with a fake name that has all the information, because once somebody sees the full information, then they feel like they have to. But the second anybody just does their phone, you know, nobody else does the rest either. It's like, oh, right? But, you know, this is what I'm here for. I'm here for this. And I respect people's relationships. And I will reach out to their agent and say, hey, what a nice guy. You know, he seems like a young guy looking in Bloomington. Wonderful. And I know Christian, so like, call them up. Opportunity to have more conversations with other agents. Maybe they're not happy at their brokerage that they're at. Lots of different opportunities. Now, one of the things that I do in my listing appointment when I'm talking to my sellers about open houses is I will be, you know, part of my program that we just talked about is me doing open houses at your home. If you require me to have a signature from everybody who comes in the door, then I'm going to, or have people's, one party's name from everybody who comes into the door, unless they're viewing with their agent, we'll have better feedback and we'll have better data. So are you requiring me to make sure that anybody who comes into their home, one person from every party? And they're like, of course, I'm required. That's exactly what I want you to say. So that is how I say it to the people who come in the door. Oh, hey, you know, safety and all that great stuff. My seller is requiring that one person from every party who is not touring with their agent, please sign it. One time I've had an issue with that. one person lost their minds. And I'm like, okay, sorry about that. But everybody else is like, oh, I totally understand. How many fake names have I gotten? Probably one. I don't care. Be creative, right? But this is what I'm requiring. Now they have like this consent language stuff. I've never used anything like that. I don't know where I would use anything like that. Kind of, but I understand that they're way into the PCA account and all of that. But I don't know. I think that's a lot, quite frankly. I do think I might incorporate this in something different that I'm thinking about doing, but right now I don't have it in mind. Scorecards. Scorecards are a really nice thing. We do this usually at broker open houses where you send them through. I also do scorecards. I've had open houses that have ice cream trucks like 4 or 5 times. And with those, I do a scorecard and each person gets a clipboard and then gets them tickets to the ice cream, so that they can rate their neighbor's house or whatever. Yep. Then the marketing, invite your database, show them you're working this weekend or this afternoon or whenever. Invite the neighbors. If you ever need help getting neighbors' contact information, I have Mojo Dialer, so I'm able to get neighborhood stuff, including email. Because I do a lot of emailing to the neighborhoods that I sell listings in. Vendor partners, absolutely. Share the cost of marketing. Adds value, especially if you have a lender that, has some good programs. Great. It increases chances of referrals. This weekend, I was sitting in an open house and a photographer came in with a little black bag that said open house survival kit. And it had Tylenol, a pack of gum, a water, 3 granola bars, and his card. Very good. I love people who go out there and try to get business like that. The current lender that I work with most, she came to one of my open houses. I just like that tenacity. If they're going to work that hard to get your business, I think they're going to take care of your clients pretty well. Pretty fun stuff. But yeah, invite the vendor partner. That's a fun thing. Having people in the house is a good thing, guys. Like, people love a busy place. And then your social media, make sure that you're including the days, the times, the address, the key details, the call to action. Click to get a sneak peek. All the good things. Lots of opportunity, great marketing. Core buyer prediction with AI. Here's some prompts, guys. What a nice way to get some really good scripts and good things to say and nice stuff for your marketing. Signs. If you don't have an open house this weekend that you're doing, I really challenge you guys to go to somebody's open house. Take a look at how many signs there are out to see if it gets you to the house. And the reason I say this is last summer I went to, 2 or 3 summers ago, I went to Mega Camp. 2 summers ago. I went to Mega Camp and one of my best friends lives down there and she came pick me up. And we couldn't check into our hotel. It was me, her, and her daughter. And we couldn't check in until 3 or whatever, right? And she's like, do you want to go to some open houses? And I'm like, yes, I always want to do that. And so we pulled up Zillow and we started going to open houses in Austin, Texas, which was unbelievably fun, except finding them. It gave me a new perspective on how many signs you really should have and where they should be put. Truly this. And I always have the balloons, so people kind of follow the balloon trail to get to my open house. But a lot of people aren't doing anything like that. Yeah.
How many signs do you typically put up?
So I typically have 6, which isn't enough.
See, I cannot go over 10. It is so much work just to do 10.
It's a lot. I get it. the mega agent up in Maple Grove who does 10% of all of the real estate agent or all the listings in Maple Grove, she does 30 to 40. But she had 9 kids to put them out for years. So it's like, come on.
Yeah.
What?
What?
It certainly is.
I see.
I'm in awe of her.
Yeah.
In awe of her.
Yeah.
I know.
Brilliant woman.
Yeah.
So good. So good. Yeah, no, all over the place. And you know, if I was somebody who really farmed, I think I would be just like that. Like, how smart is she that, you know, Maple Grove's her thing. It's what she does. She does it super high level. Amazing, amazing. Also, buying into a developing neighborhood, the way, you know, like back in 2004 is when she started her real estate business. You know, those houses, because we had friends moving out there. It's like, oh, 250. I'm like, oh my God, 250. Who's paying 250 for a house? Whoa, they must have gotten some raise. What? But now those same houses are $900,000. Like, what a smart way to do it. Find the place that's going to be raising like that. Seriously. But no, signs, like, it really matters. Like, if you're going to put all this work into it and then they can't find you, that's no good. And if you don't have your own, ask the agent. Jill always has her signs there for you as well, you know, and she's got like this crazy
You
one.
don't have to have branded ones.
No.
Go on Amazon, buy the cheap ones that are, or mix them in. I do open houses every weekend. I just ordered some of my own little signs. $15. I got 6 of them. I can
Oh,
just to add the extra. They're like, maybe they don't even realize it's for the same.
same one.
They don't pay attention. They don't know. People come in, they don't even care who you work for.
They don't.
They don't even know what builder I'm working in.
No, they don't care. They don't. If you think you have enough, add one more. There you go. Put signs up in all directional stops. Like, really plan out where your signs are going to.
Sun even has those feather flags, they call them.
Yes.
Started buying those because they fly away or you lose a stake, but they're way cheaper than buying like a custom giant one. They're
Smart.
I mean, people are like, oh, go buy them at Mar or whatnot. They're way cheaper.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are red and whatever. So it fits with the KW
Yeah.
things.
So good. Yeah. No, it's important to have it out there. And you do want people to see. Set them up as early as the area allows. A lot of areas are really funky about stuff and will take your signs and I think they just throw them away if they, you know, be very careful.
We leave ours open over the
Do
weekend.
you? That's awesome.
And like most cities, like our builder ones, they let you put them up Friday night. You have to pick them up before dusk on Sunday.
Nice.
I used to do that and I quit doing it because I kept getting calls
Or they
the
get,
weekend asking where the open house was. And I was like, until Sunday.
you have their contact information then.
Right?
Call them that morning or shoot them a text,
Yeah.
give you a reminder that it's open.
Hey, I'm at the open right now. Come over. Right?
Oh, you can't make it? Let me know when you can make it. I'll do a private showing for you.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know.
So as early, you gotta be careful though, because yeah,
as
some
long as
do
you're not
get
putting them on people's yards.
right
A good touch is to go knock on their door.
and ask.
Lots of neighbors that way.
That's a great idea. What a wonderful other way.
I learned Brent Johnson said he would bring them like a little, especially if they used he would bring them like a little $5 gift card to like coffee.
Nice.
Go to $10 because coffee's expensive. Like that's just a little
Now
perk.
I know what to do with the pizza. I've got pizza cutters with my team name on them. I'm like,
Yeah, perfect.
there's a lot of these. My assistant went crazy. I'm like, I will now be, hey, thank you.
Here's the pizza guy.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. Jasmine, the sign with balloons or pinwheels. Yep. Dollar store has pinwheels right now. Why not? You know, balloons, I will tell you, if anybody were to follow me around and watch me you would think I Love Lucy is doing real estate. It is one of the funniest things. Thank God I have a sense of humor about myself because holy buckets. The smiley faces are my nemesis. Like they mock me and it's awful and they'll fly away. I mean, it's really kind of funny, but I also talk to people about how funny it is too, and I post about how funny it is. And oftentimes you'll see a picture on my Instagram of my rearview mirror with the ominous looking smiley faces in the back seat, like, yep, we're at it again, you know? I'm working today, guys. I'm working today, guys, you know? But it's a good idea. You want people to think you're friendly. Yeah. I had an agent who was on my team and he hated my balloons. Oh, he'd pop them because he'd be out and he'd have to get my signs and he'd pop them. I'm like, they're $1. Don't do that. They last for 3 weeks. Yeah. Place a larger flag sign and additional signs in the yard. I think that's such a good idea. And one of Jill's says, agent inside. Like, I'm like, that's the smart thing to say. Like some people don't know what an open house is. They don't. We do this every day. We know what it is. The regular public doesn't know. And if they've never bought a house, maybe their families have never bought a house. Maybe they don't know. Let's invite them all in. Then the marketing. Oh, look at the prompts. So there's some great prompts for our AI stuff. How fun.
Back to that.
Yep. It's in the, yeah, you want to take a snap?
I have it, but.
All good. Awesome, awesome. So block off the day. Arrive early. Require sign-in. Hand out your scorecards. Keep people engaged. Pay attention to attendees. Have great conversations. My favorite script for open houses, and I'll just say it because it changed the caliber of the conversations I was having with people. Cody Gibson, who is a mega agent from Washington. I think he's a partner in Livian, which that's Adam Herger Rother Group merged with Livian, or not Livian, and then they all went to place. So all of these megas have now come together in this other thing. But Cody Gibson, and you can Google and watch him do it on YouTube or whatever. But his favorite is, there's usually 2 reasons why people come into my open houses. They're either looking for a house like this or they're looking to sell a house like this. Which are you? I don't know what magic is in that spell, guys. The conversations I've had since starting to use that, elevated. There's 2 reasons why people come into my open houses. Either they're looking to buy a house like this or they're looking to sell a house like this. Which are you? When I'm door knocking a neighborhood and inviting people to come to my open house, one of the things I'll say is there anything about your neighborhood that you guys do that I wouldn't know if I didn't live here? Because my old Birchwood neighborhood, we had winter parties, we had movie nights, we had all the things, right? A neighborhood that I helped one of the people I was on my team with do in Heathercote in Excelsior area, maybe it's Greenwood or whatever. At wintertime, at Christmas, they do the luminaries all down the streets with the candles and the paper bags. I wouldn't have known about that if I hadn't talked to the neighbor. And one of my favorite questions to ask so that I'm not violating any fair housing thing, how many trick-or-treaters do you guys get? Oh, when we moved in, there was 30. Nowadays, it's only a couple. Tells you a lot about the neighborhood and how many kids are around. And a lot of kids aren't going out anymore. But, you kind of get a feel. It's one of those questions. And I love, in a nice, densely populated, and they're like, oh, we have to get 3 bags every year. I love sharing that information with potential buyers. Well, if you guys love Halloween, this neighborhood loves Halloween too. Don't forget to get the 3rd bag of candy. And if anybody's broken into it, you better have a stash because they'll be there. Or turn off your light because they'll be ghosts and goblins all day. But it's those kind of, fun. People love talking about their neighborhoods Because what you'll get a lot of the times, oh, how long have you been in your house? Oh, have you thought about selling? Oh, I'm going out feet first. Understand it. I'm so glad to hear that there are people who love this neighborhood. I can't wait to find you some great neighbors. You know? And gentle conversations like that, because guess what? If your card is around, if your flyer's around, if something's around, sometimes there is a first feed situation. And they're looking for the right person, right? To take care of or whatever's house, right? Just being around is good. Okay, there's another agent success story. Please go and look at that. Host the open house. Just a control. Oh, look at that. I mean, these are some good ones, guys. This is an all new class, so yep. So, anybody need to snap it?
So I used to do this all the time and then I got a warning from,
Previous broker?
yeah, because sometimes AI is not accurate. And so if you're giving them the information that AI is giving you.
Yeah.
about
You do have to be careful.
thing,
Yeah.
Then you're responsible for that information.
Yeah.
So I had a broker that didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because he was.
Yeah. When I'm doing stuff with AI to create things like that, I generally go and give it like the listing. You know, I'll do like a PDF download of like the 360 thing. I will even, if they have a seller's disclosure and a like a Bloomington has like the TISH reports and things like that, I'll put all of that stuff in.
Yeah.
You know,
Right. Yeah, and.
but you
all the
can check what you're saying.
With
You have to
like.
tell at AI when you're doing this.
Take the information from,
This specifically,
sources.
do not infer any information, or please verify with me prior to whatever. If you took Allison's class this last week,
yeah,
she has a prompt specifically for like creating whatever. And in her prompt that she gives you, it says like, please do not infer, please clarify if you have questions for AI, like whatever. And then it's not going to create
something that you're not aware of.
accurate. Because it's like, please ask me to
Yep.
confirm accuracy or something like that. I can't remember how she worded it specifically, but it was like, oh, genius.
That is genius.
Because
Good
then you
stuff.
know it's not going to change anything.
Right.
Not be noisy.
Okay. How about we stop and take a 10-minute break? 'Cause I talk way too much and I should have done that probably an hour ago or whatever, but, and let's be back at 45 after, like 47 after. Good. Sorry, guys.
Does anybody need an open house this weekend? I just had an agent ask me, but I'm not available. No, thank you. In Minneapolis. Do you know Abby Ball? No, are you new?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Christine.
Okay, I'm
What's your
Mallory.
name? Mallory?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. This is Vincent. He's our new office baby.
How are you feeling?
He's four months.
Zero.
He's 0, yeah.
Zero. He's the one.
I drag him along with me.
Smile.
Abby Ball, she's an agent in the office, has a listing in South Minneapolis. She's doing a price reduction. I personally didn't think it was overpriced, but now it was market because it was under contract and went back on, so it kind of, I did it this weekend on Saturday, 9 groups.
Oh.
So it's good practice for bodies, even if
Yeah.
for some reason you don't hire.
Yeah.
But that area, if you can pick up open houses and like.
Tell them like, this is what the house looks like, given this much.
You're always gonna have a lot of people.
Mhm.
So I think it's good practice.
Yeah.
And what was your name?
Mallory.
So, but I'll find out.
I'm going to text Abby your information. What's your last name?
Garofalo,
Ooh,
Garofo.
G-A-R-L-O.
However, it's one level.
Yes.
What's your phone number?
651
Uh-huh.
200
200
547.
5473.
So it's someone I actually met her.
Her, and then I'll
Does
shoot
she
you a
have, like,
text.
specific time yet? Or, okay. 'Cause I was like, I can do. I can do Saturday.
I will text you her information too, and I'll connect you.
Okay, perfect.
I did a withheld and signed him as a buyer, we'll say last October.
Valerie said she would be open to this.
He didn't want to sell until he found something in May. Both happened on the same day. He found his accepted offer, we'll say by Sunday night, Monday. His went live on Tuesday, had an accepted offer Wednesday. Yeah.
Our neighbor. I watched,
Mhm. Yeah.
He's that noise. That kid in the back with you.
Love their little outfit. Horrible.
I love that it's shorts. Julie bought it for him when I had him, and it's really soft and stretchy too, so he's not gonna get too hot.
Yeah, it looks like a cool outfit.
You were there yourself. No, but I already made.
That was not.
Do you have the address?
Yep, I was just texting it to you.
Oh, perfect.
I texted you Abby's phone number. I texted Abby, and then I just texted you that address. Oh my. Let's go see what we have to get from the back off. Wait.
Oh, And then if you didn't have some. Yeah.
your house, you're a solid. This is what I do. So part of me is thinking, okay, let's see how this goes with this, if it even pans out. And then depending on my segment. I don't know. You know, it's like.
Price, right? Price it for, what he agrees to? Yeah, I'd love to. Yes, I would love to.
They're the ones, they have that big. Pool,
Yeah, yeah.
where they did
It just. Oh, I know. I can't tell you how back and forth I went when we sold our house.
You did it yourself?
Sure did. I did it, my husband provided input. He of course wanted it to be a little bit higher and he was not messing around. He already moved to make for number one. And number two, we don't want to overprice it. And we're sitting on it. That's the silliest thing. And we did it exactly the way it should. The first day we hit the market, we had two short. Job accomplished, right?
Right.
Right. Well, I was gonna say to you, I have an appraiser friend. And so I have her, I know a lot of people. I'm not doing it. Yeah. I have her come through and I'll do that. She'll do measurements.
Yeah, if I need to, let me see, because I'm having to get our links. There.
I've changed it. Right in there in a second. I gotta see what I gotta grab. Is there a lot of stuff, Dan, that I need down?
So I like everybody. I'm Will.
So I'm like, okay, let's.
Yeah, nice to meet you. How long have you been at the office? Fun.
Right. Oh, yeah. For sure.
Mallory.
Mallory, nice to meet
When I'm
you.
glad.
Yeah, Noni, N-O-N-I.
That's it.
You're so easy at an email.
Yeah.
That's.
Cause I've been
They're
trying to make sure that I.
Email.
They like all.
And they all look in the box.
Yeah.
And so like.
And so this one, it's at Kroger system.
Okay.
No.
So for my first.
Yeah.
It was white from birth. And so then when I was on that team, they had me as Winona. I'm like, this is easier. As far as them, so that, you know.
The colors were like a little bit greener.
Yeah, so then when
Some
I.
people were like.
See if there's a no button, right? And there's been no.
You saw for the.
So I.
Okay, I
And so
know.
I get more.
You did one of the house allegedly.
Marilyn, like her best friend still hasn't.
Never did another one.
Over.
I said.
English stuff.
They're really good friends.
I've seen people, not everyone wants to schedule an
She called
appointment.
me after like the Thursday, that her best friend is still.
You say, okay, I'm your family. So, cause she'll be one that's been sitting.
She's
for
like,
6
I got.
They had one.
I dropped
First day of.
5 times a day, like after she doesn't even know that I email, and I'm not even really into, it has been really 6 years, right?
And see,
I had this, like,
yeah, people aren't overly excited.
But anything.
But there are some nice things about it.
Yeah.
Hold
My
on, right?
last name,
It backs up against one.
Is it?
so I have it as Mallory Groff, but
Yeah.
I'm getting married.
Yeah.
So I had to get my map for now.
You
What
have
is
two
and I'm like, hard to get. can't wait to change it, but I'm saying.
That's my thing.
Oh, yeah. I feel like they're especially the co-listing agent. And I
Oh,
said,
yeah.
hey, just wanted you to know, another house on this lot.
Salary change, which would have been better, but I panicked.
Listing.
So I don't know.
5-7, they're not having a.
But no one knows about
You don't need to.
You know.
575, so the same.
Oh, no.
Okay. But it
Oh.
ain't. No.
Oh,
Okay. Right. It's gorgeous.
With that.
Yeah, built in, 1,000 square feet. The car garage, which.
Yeah, no, and those get
I'm like,
snatched.
it's gonna sell right away, so I have.
Yeah.
Water at every faucet.
In this room.
And then I'm bringing a client through. Yeah, let me know if someone-
Guys towards the end.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I love it.
Yeah, I've been.
You know, and if I'm not gonna do the
Where is this?
where are you gonna, that work better for you?
You gotta know.
Do you have a pet?
What is that?
What are you available to pizza?
No, I didn't bring him. He's like, well, yeah, I know, but then I was like, wait, I don't know that shit.
That's fine.
Come on over after.
Okay, yeah, okay, so like around 5.
Yeah, it might be useful.
I sent that to you. Did you get it? The email?
I don't have access.
Oh, okay.
Go over.
There's no my email.
Extra item.
I think I got everybody's.
Great.
Yep. Randy Walker at KW.
Yeah, that he told.
Must have sent you something previously. I know. Okay. If anybody would like a copy of my sign-in sheet, just email me at my email's so easy. It's noni@kw.com. Noni@kw.com. Yep. I don't know if all you know, but you all can have up to 5 aliases that go into your KW account. So I have the Win Home Team. I have all sorts of different ones. Because the first one I was ever given was Weichelberger. My last name's Eichelberger, so they just put the W in front. People screw that up all the time, right? And let me tell you, and I didn't realize it was as big of an issue until I joined that mega team and they had me as Winona at HRG, and it was so easy for me to tell everybody that. And I think there's still people in my life who think it's still that, so I'm sure they're answering. If you join a team, know that they'll keep your email and keep answering it. But when I left the team, I was like, well, maybe there's something easier, because I knew previously Noni wasn't available because there was a Noni at KW in Maryland, but she had left the market center, so I got it. But wow, do I get lots of Maryland stuff. If I ever want a lender in Maryland, I've got several sources to choose from. I think they still send me rates and everything. But what's really funny is her best friend like has it saved in her phone. And so like a couple weeks ago, she sent me like 5 things in the same day. And I just forwarded it to this gal. And she finally called me after like years of me having her old email address. And she's like, I don't know what her problem is. I talked to her like 5 times a day and she doesn't have my right email. She knows I haven't been with Keller for years and years and years. I'm like, it's all good. It was fun to talk to her. Yeah, super fun. So role play. Have we all been doing the role play things in the classes? Did we do role play for the appointment?
Yes.
Cool.
I know.
Perfect. Cool. Well, I think that's a good thing to do. If you break into 2s, and let's maybe for the next 10 minutes, do some role play on what would you say if somebody came into your open house? Has everybody got somebody? You can do a threesome. Vince, you are not licensed. You may not.
I thought you said Vince, and I was like, since you're not licensed, I was like, wait a minute, you're not licensed.
Right.
No, I haven't even really yet.
I do everything.
Where do you live here?
I don't.
What was on my mind? I will be getting it done. Really convenient, so I haven't really thought about.
I'm like going first in case you hear something.
Will do.
So if you're okay looking at it, I'm okay with having it. Oh, yeah, just a little. Yeah, so I kind of, my go-to is like, obviously, welcome in to the neighborhood, I have your needs. Welcome to my own life. I've done my research, whatever you should do the next house or another thing, I'm happy to help you or get you.
So you can see it online.
Donated if it's in the area.
Awesome, well, I'll just give you.
For like, yep. So I always today's an obligation.
The house I was holding all.
Would love for you to tour like a pathway for the senior center.
Kind of go through there.
Way I can share with myself.
Nine people come to open house. Like for other homes or their home. I mean, sometimes they're a neighbor, like bring it home and think, oh, I just.
That's literally my exact.
Yeah, going through.
Yeah, pretty much all of that.
Yeah, we just.
I always ask their name to register sometimes. And then working with the agent, I always ask them what their agent is.
One is the backyard and the other one is the.
Well, yeah, I don't. Great. If I always hold it, I don't have. I think it's taken 4 years.
How nice is it?
I'm getting more.
This with myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I
To an email too.
Hey, let's,
And I.
Nona, yep. Okay.
Hey, you're very quick. I love that.
And AI can take my win home team thing right out of it.
So, I mean, like, I don't wanna come off as pushy. I don't know, usually I don't. Representative already represented. So I
Right,
have
you're
it
like,
ready.
I don't know what to do now.
Gemini.
Have you offered them? That was no obligation.
Gemini or no?
About the project.
Already.
It's so good. I just ordered some of that. So if you've never sat down and talked to somebody about it, is no obligation.
So while she was talking, I would never.
A walk in a bar,
On everything.
And I could put my.
Even. Don't use so expensive.
Wonder like.
I do it 2 different ways. So one, I have like one sign in on one piece of paper, or I have like a list.
I was like, I need.
I almost always write the information myself. And then it gives me opportunity to verify. And how to.
Necessarily overly like the background.
A little bit. Like, oh, I'm talking to her as I give her my.
It has. I wanted to have.
Real.
Yeah.
I keep it alive. Something like that, you know, or if they you write it, I verify, like, honestly, I'm like, say, so and phone number. right? And they're like, I don't think I should do it.
Because
I don't feel like
create, like, I've gotten to this point now.
although they, almost always say,
I want, but I want to do it way better.
yeah, 3 people, even if they're even.
I
no, yeah. Okay.
So I've done that. Have created something.
But then the plastic house.
Marketing materials using Gemini.
Like, I should have. Keep it.
Just throw no one into Gemini.
And it'll still say.
The real estate agent the seller prefers us to have everybody sign in their own.
What Gemini created now. My buyers, I'm like, this is exactly what I want, but I want my information on it. So look at, I mean, this, everything is just so, like, this is what I want.
Not trying to bombard, right? I'm not follow up with your
So I added,
Right.
I just said add my, I attached.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it makes,
Some people.
and you're doing
They have an answer.
furniture versus like a. You just have to.
I don't know, do I?
I think I know. Like
Community.
if I have conversations
I
about,
want this picture.
I write every little season. They're gonna give you.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, remember they have 3 kids and they live in X, Y, and Z. Or
Signage?
they, like 5 years. They're still planning for 5 years.
Look at how cool this is. I mean, even the. Park and Pond.
Oh, I do it, I literally, as I'm talking to. Yes. No, like I have to do it.
Says, if this is your.
Because I have a lot of information on like whatever. I have them, some people,
Like when I get this,
like, they don't really have it when it's like all the extra. Well, I need to fill that out. I was like, I need to jot down a couple things about our conversation today to go back on. If for some reason.
I just need to figure out how to change.
And people are usually cool with it, replace that, to do that. They put notes under, there's a little CRM in the back, so they remember, oh, how did so and so go? Remember everyone first, yeah. It's just like jotting down, whatever. And I also, totally, it's, yeah, I keep, it kind of just depends. New construction people are a lot more willing to tell me information if they stick around a little bit longer versus like existing to kind of like walk through and then either like a yes or no, I like that. I wonder if I even have any of my registration cards. I have like different variations that I use.
Actually, I'm hesitant on the list. Lately have I don't want my information.
This one I have variation, and this is my very extensive buyer one. And people fill it out. I write notes.
I like that because it is like a zero.
Okay, let's start winding down.
He works in Rochester, looking for existing or new, maybe modify his list. Like, but yeah, totally. Time frame exploring, that could be unreal. I have all my,
I love
what do you use? You use one like a list?
When do you have?
Like that, or do you do?
Oh, for
on any-
your consult stuff
No,
or no?
I sign in sheet.
Oh,
I have different ones.
no, mine,
Let's see what
I
they
sent
do.
everybody, I just do this. Yep,
So yours is more like this one.
yeah, it's more like that.
I like the idea of this because the last 3 open houses I've done, I've gotten a lot of pushback on their name just being out in the open. for
I
people
bet.
to See,
I
so
understand,
that
that would
one
be
is
nice.
their own. and
Yep.
Nobody, it's not sitting out.
Yep, and if you have little, cause I,
You can do half the paper and and I have,
the little.
I always have clipboards with me.
And if doing
Actually,
that thing, you're not worried about them not, you know, how it's like, if they see somebody didn't do it, the whole thing on the one above, You don't have that problem on
And
that.
this is big for old people that
Oh,
can't read little
well,
handwriting.
yeah.
Just as like a, oh, I don't have my glasses, I can't see, or,
Right?
cause I,
Because that is small, you're right.
And,
like this
and
is
I can
huge.
keep some big ones with me, but then do like the little ones.
Depending on what you're, or you could use one on each, like 2 different variations.
Right.
Kind of just depends.
Yeah.
This one I do an existing a lot more because it's like kind of quicker, so I can't always.
Right.
But this, like, new construction, people come in and they spend a lot of time,
Yeah.
so I'm really able to gather.
And I don't generally do new construction.
But sometimes it's nice just to have this, because then you can, because it's nothing that you couldn't gather the same information for existing.
Because I was telling her I was thinking about going to digital,
Yeah.
like a form where they, like a QR code
I don't have
Yeah.
form, where they could like fill it out on their phone.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Some people are afraid of it.
I mean, I rarely,
Afraid of everything,
I
right?
rarely get
Like,
people to sign in, period. So.
right?
Any of the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Okay. So
Yeah, it looks like
after the dialogue, there's the follow-up.
This one is literally from Canva. I think I typed in.
So how did that go for everybody? Did you guys share stories? Did you get some ideas of something to do differently?
Yes.
Practice?
I mean,
Little.
no. I mean, well, kind of.
Brains.
There we go. Honest.
I got a little distracted.
So some of the follow-ups that you can use, feel free to take a look around. If you have any questions about the home or neighborhood, I'm happy to help. Are you currently working with an agent? Are you currently selling in order to buy? What are you looking for in a home? Is this the area you're hoping to buy in? How did you hear? That has been a big one for us this fall when I was doing open house as one of my 3 pillars. One of the things that we did really heavy were email campaigns. I had my assistant send out emails, and then we'd do an AI analyze of all the data that we got of how open rates and things like that, and then change up and send it back out again with a different memo to see which memo lines would do. And then, the Linden Hills one, it was like 50-50 had seen it from the email. I was just shocked. I'm like, oh, wow. So it's so good to, and I love hearing when they're like, oh, I saw your sign. I love that. That just tickles me, good. That does still work. People are wrong when they say, oh, that doesn't work. It does. Yeah. An open house should be friendly, low pressure, build rapport, open to a casual but useful conversation. Be respectful and informative. Offer space for exploration of the home while remaining engaged and available through the body language and tone. You want to respect the visitor's comfort zone, open the door to conversation without pressure, gather information while staying professional and warm, stay off your phone to appear interested in the visitors. Why we shouldn't have to say that, but I think I'm glad that they do, because I still do stuff at open houses. I love seeing houses, and it's very hard for me to drive past an open house and not stop in, even today. It's just ridiculous.
I do that too.
And the amount of people who do not engage me, don't ask anything at all, is
Down and don't even.
shocking. It's the
Why would
weirdest
you
thing
make
in
an
the world to me. I just
Why
don't
would you put an open
understand.
house and
Right?
Not engage people.
Right?
It's not just a waste of time.
Yeah. It's just the funniest thing. But as we talked about before, there's people who are not even doing them, even though they advertise them.
Yeah.
One of the things that I found, and I don't know where it went, or who took that. I think it's important to create a tone of the type of agent you are, because to me, it's an interview, right? Like every opportunity you have to interact, and especially these, I like that the buyers get to meet me Because then they know a tone of, oh, well, she was super friendly. She was great at the open house. She gave us cookies. I do cook cookies at all my open houses unless if I'm doing it for somebody else, I always ask them to ask their sellers if it's okay to. I don't ever want to presume, even on a vacant house, that it's okay for me to use something that isn't typical or any of that. I think that we should be really respectful of these people's homes, and they're allowing us to do these things. So I always ask, could you please ask your seller if it's okay? And I'm not going to be, yours was the cutest ever, Erica,
Yeah.
your Cottage Grove people. She's like, do you want me to leave out my flower? You can use I'm like, oh, whole house, frozen, like that's ready-made is what I'm doing. I'm not stirring anything in your kitchen. That would be a big old mess. I'm not doing that. I'm just breaking them apart, putting them on, cooking them off. It smells really wonderful. I always tell the people because they're like, oh, that old cookie trick. And I'm like, well, it's not really a trick. I see it as serving two purposes. Number one, it smells great and it's wonderful. Number two, the oven works.
Right.
No question. And let me tell you guys, after 12 years of baking cookies in other people's ovens, I have some feelings about different brands because of like how hot they run fast or any of that, I can find a timer on anybody's microwave and anybody's oven, This one in my listing in Robbinsdale has the weirdest little number strip. It's like 1, 2, 3. I'm like, you are goofy. But, it's kind of fun. I love that LG's ovens have the bright blue insides that are so pretty. We have LG at the listing I have in Bloomington right now. Just fun things like that. You wouldn't know. It also, it's a funny thing because this winter, Jill, Karen, and I, we do a lot of stuff together. We just known each other a long, long time. And we were, Jill had this listing that was in a 55 plus community, a lot of single level living townhouses and things. And she did just a barrage of open houses. And we did a special one specifically for the neighbors. So we door knocked all the neighbors. We did the email campaign to all the neighbors, asking them if they'd like to come to this special one that was in the afternoon. And so the day before, and you can stack open, Jill does this. She'll have more than one open house in a day. So the Friday that we were doing the door knocking, and it was bitter cold. Like it was January. It was like one of those really cold snap days, but it was bright and pretty. And so like one of us would, like Karen in the morning was doing the open house from 10 to noon. And then Jill and I did door knocking. And then I did, I think it was 2 to 4 for the afternoon on a Friday, because in the winter, past 4, it's too dark. It's dark. So, you have and you have to think about who you're selling to. So this was a 55 plus community. So a lot of them are retired. So they'll come in the afternoon. So hitting the right people, right? And so then Karen had made cookies in the morning, and we had plenty for that afternoon open house. So, and then Jill was doing, she had brought like the stuff for a charcuterie board for the afternoon. She was kind of starting to put stuff together and this and that. And I had to go. And the next morning, I went there, grabbed the signs. I turn on all the lights and I flip the oven on always to heat up so that when I come back, I can throw my first thing of cookies in the oven. And so I hadn't locked up the night before. One of the other gals had. And I had the code to the garage. So I just zoomed into the garage. And of course, I'm like trying to get these steaks into like frozen ice, and so I'm fighting with these things. And I get back later than I thought. So it was like 3 minutes after the open house. And I park and there is a truck in the driveway. And there's nobody in front and there's nobody in the truck. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And so I go in through the garage and I'm like, hello. And they're like, oh, we didn't know. It said, I'm like, you're fine. It's all good. You know, I didn't know that it wasn't that it wasn't locked. Yeah. It was a vacant property. Jill's client had moved out. And so they were there. And then I'm like, what? And I run, I'm like, Karen had left a tray of cookies in the oven that now were hockey pucks. And she's like, did you want me to grab those out of the oven? I'm like, no, I'm just going over to the screen door or the patio door to open it up so I can throw them out when I go grab them. Because I wanted, you know, and it was so funny because I'm like, you know, I generally bake cookies to have like a nostalgic feeling. You know, I didn't want you guys to experience my mom's cooking, you know, and everybody just delightful, funny. You can get around a lot of that. But boy, did it really make me start thinking. I've also done one for Erica, and her people knew that I was going to be doing the cookies, and he turned the oven on for me. And I was like, oh, thank you, you know, because he was doing stuff before he was leaving. Didn't let me know that there was the biggest pile of pans in his oven.
You probably didn't know.
I probably didn't know.
I don't think I don't think he's big. So I had to take these hot pans and put them into it was like hilarious.
Sounds like something that would happen in a
No, I don't put anything in my oven. Like I don't expect things to be in the oven. So I think now I'm pretty good at checking everybody's ovens before. Because I always ask permission. But yeah, friendly and nice. One of the things that I was like wondering if I had, one of the ways I also kind of portray who I am, and you know, I see it as an opportunity to educate people always. So I always ask things like, oh, I used to have a laminated, and I don't know where it went, agency disclosure. And I would say to them, oh, before we talk about too much, has anybody ever shown you this agency disclosure? Nobody ever has. Like, because a lot of these people, you know, even if they have an agent, you know, people sign stuff, they aren't explained it, you know, and so I think it's a great opportunity just to tell them the 4 different ways you can hire a real estate agent in the state of Minnesota. It's just those little things, right? That like, oh, that was different than anybody else, you know? Like I mentioned, Jill, who I just adore, one of my favorite people. And she is just a natural, curious human person. Like she just like loves people and wants to know about them. And it's so fun to watch somebody just, you know, we find so much information more about them. And it helps me. It was like, oh, that's exactly right. So quite frankly, my business really has changed since doing those with her and hearing just the lovely conversations she has. She does sometimes, in my opinion, cross the line. That neighbor party, she whipped out her phone and she's like, let's take a video for the sellers. You all know him. And like had them say something nice about, I'm like, oh my gosh, I would just melt in a puddle if somebody asked me to do that. But she's just delightful. I mean, and it just goes with who she is. So it works super well. But be authentic to you. I mean, for a lot of people, that wouldn't be right. Don't do something that isn't who you are, but don't be afraid of who you are. You know, that kind of thing. Me, you know, scrambling with, you know, to throw these hockey pucks out the door into the snow. That is a nonism. Like everybody who heard that story just cackled, you know, because it's funny and it's so typical of me, like not to look at something like that. And it's not harmful, you know, nobody got hurt. There were, you know, those cookies were way done. But, you know, the idea that people love that kind of stuff, right? Like people love the insight to your life and the funny things that happen. And I know that one time, when I was a brand spanking new agent, I had, I went and got a new wardrobe from Macy's and used one of their people to help you figure out your clothes and stuff, right? And so I had this red dress that I put on for my orientation because I was super excited, right? And so I'm like, honey, how do I look? And he's like, oh, you look wonderful. Thanks. And I go to this orientation, and there's a lot of people who I went to real estate school with who were at the orientation too, because we all, back then you actually went to class and stuff for real estate school. And I touched my neck and I'm like, the zipper. I had put my dress on backwards. Didn't know it. And excused myself, whipped the dress around and went back in. And I did a post on that about my real estate and clothes and all the funny things. And one of our lenders was one of my Facebook friends, because I'm Facebook friends with everyone. And her dad had passed away that week. And she saw my post and started laughing so hard. Her mom's like, what is funny? And so she told her mom, and they both just had such a good laugh. My first contract happened that week as well. And I think I was happier about that. I got to give them some levity in such a hard time losing her dad. If that helps, great. I do have a friend of mine who, when I do posts like that, they'll like sneak into my DMs and be like, Noni, aren't you afraid that, you're putting yourself in a bad light? And I'm like, well, if they expect somebody to be perfect, to be doing their transactions, I want to pass, because that's too much. I like things like this happen in my life all the time. I am so human. I am the most human person you're ever going to meet. So like, if that's a problem, great. They should go to somebody else, because that doesn't mean that I don't take this super seriously, that I know these forms inside and out, that I work hard for my clients. You can do all of that and be exactly who you are. Like, authenticity is going to attract the people who you should really be working with. And I have people in my life from very different walks of life who literally I feel like are family, and they were internet leads. There are people who would lay down in traffic for me and I for them, who I met off the internet, and I have family that hasn't used me, and that's just how, people, when you really work hard for them and they've never had somebody work really hard for you, wow, does that change? Like, we can change people's lives. It's amazing. I just feel so blessed to do this. And I really want to do this just authentically. I don't want to be somebody else. Everybody else I think is taken. So, it doesn't make any sense for me to try to be something I'm not. Because
Now, how do you handle the person who absolutely refuses to register at an open house?
so I did have it that one time. And for that particular house, people were living there. And I was like, I'm really sorry. I believe you said you were working with an agent. I think you should really make an appointment with your agent. I don't believe people should be in homes if they don't understand, for safety, for my client's safety, it's not that big of a deal. And it's only happened once in the entire time I've ever.
Well, I just tell them I'm not gonna bother them.
Yeah.
For
Right.
the seller is requiring me to. I just tell them, like, I'm not gonna bombard you, because I think they say
I know.
8,000 times. And I'll even like write underneath their name. I was like, hey, I'll make a note right next to your name, like,
Right.
do not call.
Yep.
Done.
Yeah.
And in terms of like the seller wanting that for security purposes, I get, but like the whole point in actually getting contact info is to contact them.
Well, except that it really is important to get their agent's name.
Mhm.
Following up
Yeah.
with people with the agents is a good thing. Like, it really
The
has
agents don't
helped.
even know their clients are out.
They don't know that they're in there. They don't know that there's 4 offers already. They don't know those kind of things. So to be able to reach out to their agent, and that's what I say to them. I say, oh, if you have an agent, put their name down. I won't be contacting you. I will be talking to you through your agent. And then if they need something like, oh, you need a seller's disclosure, I'll send that over to your agent.
The other thing they could do though is scribble on it.
They certainly could.
You can't read it.
And there's plenty of people who think that they're telling me their information and I can't read their writing. Yeah. Is it, a hard fast rule? Yeah, not really. And if somebody is determined not to, how many times, because like I have had condo open houses, and for condo open houses, I generally do it with another agent because you need to have somebody opening the door and somebody in the unit. And so we had this one in a condo in Minnetonka Mills. And I would get their contact information before they were going up. I'm like, oh, and then I would text the person up and say, Judy and Bob are coming on up, right? And all good stuff, right? Well, how many times did I hear, Judy, did you put our real names down? Like, hilarious, right? Whatever. If somebody doesn't want, I don't want to work with anybody who doesn't want to work with me anyway. I really don't. Like, that's just not how I work super hard for my clients. I don't want to be them to feel like they're stuck with me. And I think it's easier for me because in general, the majority of my open houses that I'm doing are on my listings and I don't do dual representation. So it isn't about that. Yeah. But you're not going to arm wrestle, like those people, that's the suggestion I made for them. And I think it was appropriate. I didn't get a good feeling. It just felt so weird. Like the way this person got like so offended, like that's not normal. Is he going to be going through their medicine cabinet to see if there's pills? I don't know. There's people who do that. And we want to make sure that our sellers know all of those kind of things too. Has anybody ever held an open house where they didn't feel comfortable with somebody in the house?
Yes. But, that one, I mean, I was fine.
Yeah.
But he was just creepy. Didn't understand.
I think that's the next thing. So, yep.
I clearly saw him on the corner earlier and I told him he wasn't allowed in.
Yeah.
That was a weird one.
Yeah.
No, that was the guy that came through mine. That was the point at which I stopped putting my face
On
on my
your
open
sign.
house signs because that's what attracted him to my open house. The first thing he said was like, "Oh, you are as gorgeous as your
Oh,
picture."
that's creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are creepy people. I've only had one situation where I put and I know it was my fault. It was a condo and I was doing it by myself and I was touring. It was a converted mansion condo. So there was a lot of and so I was just doing it as tours for people. And I was in the basement by myself with this young guy and I'm like, what are you doing, you moron? That was myself though. That wasn't him. He wasn't creepy at all or anything. We do have to be cognizant of what we're doing and not put ourselves into situations. And there is never a reason you can always have another person. There's never a reason that you don't have to. I had a weird incident at a gas station before an open house this year that I did for Erica. And I was very concerned about this person who blew up my phone after running into him. And I called an agent that had been doing open houses for me and shadowing me and stuff, asked her if she wouldn't mind joining me. And she came right over. Even at this time it is okay. We need to protect ourselves, and I'm sure he was fine and whatnot, but I should have been more cognizant about giving my card out, right? Like who knew that they'd go crazy? But, we do have to be careful about it. So making sure that people know you're doing the open house and truly have somebody come with, even if it's your spouse. Karen Watts, James, her husband, is almost always at her open houses with her. It's fine. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay.
My husband can see me on Google Maps.
Nice.
And I have it set up that way so that anywhere I'm at, like he knows my exact location.
Fantastic. That's a great, I don't know how to do that. I'll find out. But, I think that's a great way to have, and I think we have the find our phone feature and stuff. So if he wanted to, he doesn't pay attention. So it's all good,
I've had new agents. I reach out to new agents and I'll
Good idea.
co-host with me.
Yes.
And then if there is a buyer, we'll split it.
Yes,
We'll share the buyer or something like that.
Great.
That's worked out really well.
truly. Yeah, I just don't think anybody should put themselves, no lead gen is worth anybody having nightmares about anything or questioning, you know? And there's no reason, you know, that shouldn't take it off your list. There's way, you know, find a friend who has, you know, and following somebody is a great way to learn and things too. I mean, it's really good. I
I learned
love
from
hearing.
them, too.
I love hearing.
Oh,
Telling you, Jill is so good at it. And from the get, she was, because we had an open house in Big Lake that she and I were at. And a real estate agent came in looking for themselves. And she starts talking about Keller Williams. And have you ever thought about moving? And I'm like, she's 3 months in. I'm, you know, years in. And it was so good to see because that's just how natural she is at this. It's so good to watch other people. Keep your belongings in the car. I think that's great advice. Require sign-ins. I think that's fine. It's the way we should do it. Greet all guests and do a gut check. You know, I think gut checks, we do need to listen to our guts. They know. Turn the lights on. Absolutely. Meet the neighbors. You can wave at the people if they're around. Just stay aware. Park in a safe spot. Make sure you won't get blocked in or something. And then have somebody meet to close you down. If you, yeah. And if that's when the timing, maybe that is, you know,
The creepy guy that.
was that
was
close?
the very end. when
Yep.
The open house was shutting down because that's when was nobody else there.
Yeah. Well, you know,
There's one that's happened to me more than once, where they walk in the door with a dog.
with a dog.
Yeah, walk into a house with a dog.
They walked in I said, I'm sorry, we can't have dogs.
I know.
Sorry, it's not my house. We can't do this.
Right.
And so I sent them back out. You want to tie the dog up to the
Right.
post outside, okay? Feel
What
free
are
to
you
come back in.
thinking? Yeah.
I had another lady who had a little dog and she's carrying the dog. She's, I won't let the dog down. I will carry the dog throughout the house. I did let that
Yeah.
one through.
Weird. Come on, people. Yeah. I just think you'll see it all. You'll see it all. You'll get to experience it all. The follow-up. If attendees are not automatically added to your database through the registration sheet, make sure that you add them, make notes, contact everybody who attended the open house as soon as possible. This is your opportunity to note the neighbors, the looky-loos, and the interested buyers, determine what follow-up plans you should use. Follow Monday, call the same people the following Monday and let them know that you call the same people you called for the circle prospecting and let them know. Offer market analysis, ask for a referral, of course, be TCPA compliant. Add the follow-up plans to every new contact. Make sure you've a proper consent with your follow-up plans, including calls and texts. One of the things that I like to do with neighbors that come in, because they often are like, oh, I'm here, I'm there. I like to send thank you cards, like just a handwritten thank you card. So many people really respond to that. And it's so rare to have a thank you these days. If the neighbor had, you know, and I'll make, because you can bring them with you. Just when I used to interview for jobs and stuff, I would have the thank you card with me. I would write the note so that I could say something about the conversation we had and then send it straight away. I just think that, you know, in this world, there's lots of ways to be extraordinary that are just really small, you know? And then if you want to look up Ashley, it sounds like she is persistent in her follow-ups. And now we can role play the follow-up conversation. How about we take 5 minutes to just do a quick call? The script is that we are calling after they have come to our open house. And let's say they're not represented, okay? It's just a follow-up call. So if you guys want to break into your partner groups that you were in before, we'll do this for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's Nico's being from California. Yeah.
So like, this is like after, okay, so.
I'm gonna be different.
Yesterday, I do remember. Great.
Erica Bowen.
I know, said you like the yard.
Okay, thank you for.
Area that you're looking for.
I didn't really talk, I don't really know what we talked about. Let me think, maybe, you,
If there's any-
and. Sellers are available in the area. You probably it was this easy.
They are right around.
No, but it's.
Absolutely, and it's just for your information, I'll just, follow up with you.
The to get under contract, you get out of the house as soon as they can. You know that there's a couple.
No, it's very exciting and important. The conversation. What day we.
That would be great.
I'll add you to my list, so that way.
Okay, well, have you talked to anybody about listing your house or looking at any other properties?
In the space. Happy to schedule something guys for. A specific time or.
What about getting a search set up on the MLS? Is that something that would interest you?
Add that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Are you aware of what the MLS is?
That would be best.
Yeah, so what we can do is sit down and what exactly it is. Where you're wanting to be, how much. We can really hone in a search on the MLS. We can put
We could either meet.
bathrooms, it goes a little bit more. Surface level. And as soon
Early morning or late afternoon.
as sites, they take it from the MLS, well, that's the direct. source. That's all.
About 1 p.m.
Those two meetings.
Then I would.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Coffee shop. And an email.
Yeah, about 1 minute left.
Just setting up on a search in the MLS. Place. No obligation. Good idea to you, then we can.
Are we allowed to like? Allowed to like,
Have an actual search on the MLS, yes.
Talking to the no.
After the conversation,
Meeting someone to copy.
I know what.
Pay for it. Is that okay?
Yeah, why not?
If we're in a so the only reason why I'm curious about it is because if you're at an open house and you're trying to set an appointment, you can work by saying like, hey, let's meet at a coffee shop, coffee's on me.
Like, oh, I see.
It almost seems like kind of like a kickback,
Interesting.
area.
So,
Well, let's get on
one of the reasons why,
Friday.
And maybe it's not,
Right.
but I just, this is kind of what comes up.
because the way I do, I changed everything because of the way we have to do business now.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of internet leads. And so when somebody's like, oh, I want to see 123 Main Street, I'm like, great, when are you available? They'll be like, oh, after 5 on Tuesday. Then I go book that appointment and then I look for a coffee shop nearby
Right.
and then I do, in showing time, you know, they have the tour,
I always,
choose tour. I put the first stop on the tour as Caribou Coffee, a half hour first, and then go to the listing.
they're okay.
And then I send it to them. I say, oh, hey, I have us booked for the property at blank time. We're gonna need to meet first because there's things that, you know, we have to have a conversation around prior to going into the first property. And then I get there like 15 minutes before them, and I text them and I say, hey, I'm grabbing coffee. What can I get you? I pay for a lot of coffee.
Right, but you've already set the appointment.
Right.
It feels different to me if you've already set the appointment and then you're offering versus forget to set the appointment.
Yeah.
Space was nice. I love how they,
Someone can't afford to, but they would
Right.
like to meet.
just not.
There's no pressure.
For sure, yeah.
Exactly.
That's what.
No, that's a,
No, and that makes sense. I'm just, I
I
don't
think
know.
that's a great thing to ask Matt Grady.
No, that makes me curious. Because I'm just like,
I'm like,
Of course.
always the kickback.
because you're not allowed to do gift cards in that.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
you
and I'd
wouldn't
be able to
say,
get a card
hey,
for-
set an appointment with me, I'll give you
Yeah.
a $100 gift card.
Something as a giveaway.
No, or like, because a giveaway is a giveaway and you're doing a drawing. Whereas
But
this
like you're
is,
giving me your information in exchange.
Walked in.
so it has to do with, like saying, if you set an appointment with me, I'll give you a gift card.
Yeah, there's a tit for tat kind of
Yeah,
thing, right?
Yep. Whereas if you're doing a giveaway, they're just like.
With everyone.
Not get
They
it.
can't,
So,
you can't make you work with them
Also-
just because you
also,
signed in.
I've heard that he's not a fan of giveaways for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't like them.
Okay. Okay, let's continue. So a review of the open house system according to this playbook. Go ahead and have a day one. You figure out what date you're going to do it. Make sure it gets posted on the MLS. I do that on first day. I want it as long as possible. I want people thinking about, oh, I'll swing by there. And then creating the marketing materials. And then on the third day, inviting people, doing the circle prospecting, partner with vendors. On the fourth day, social media channels. I'm doing social media the first day, but that's just me. And it's not me, it's my assistant. And then putting up the directional signs. The idea of blocking off the day, I will do 2 open houses in a day, go show a property and go take a listing appointment. So, I mean, that's not my whole day's thing. That's just not how my life works. I got 5 things today left to do. Like, so great if that's okay. I get really what they're asking is just to put some effort, really think about it. And then 7-day putting them up on the follow-up plan. And even more, I do think that 7th day of taking a look at your results, like really asking yourself, you know, like, okay, how many people came in? What was the crowd like? What did I do this time that I didn't do last time? What kind of thing, you know, like this it's to build your business. Like, and if it's not your tool, find a different tool. And there are some people who have great success with this and others don't. And if it's your thing, you know, go all in, do it that 8th level, you know, and there's a playbook in Connect with that. Like there's plenty of agents who have their team's whole thing is open houses. If that's your thing, if that's how you want to, like really go all in with it, like give it. And I really believe, you know, any kind of lead source gen you choose to put your time into and try to, you know, go ahead and do the mastering of it. You gotta give it more than 3 times, 5 times, 6 times, you know. I mean, you will see the difference of yourself at a when you're prepared, you've done the things compared to not doing the things. There is a huge difference. And so I think it's a good thing for everybody to try. I think it's a good thing to, if you're not doing anything else, it's a really nice way to get into properties. And once you know how you get clients, it may or may not be your thing, but it's not a bad one. So then you get into the habit builder. They have you listening to your podcast. And then you can have that right on there if that's going to be one of your things, so that every Monday, I know how many open houses, I know what times, I know, Mine's really truncated of that, but I think everybody gets the idea that you can really have it as something. I do think that anything,